Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with the mighty Jingles. Today we're still on the patch 8.1 test server. There has been some kind of update. There was a 27 megabyte patch which I had to install today when I fired up World of Tanks. No patch notes, which is not unusual on the European server. They very rarely tell us what's going on, and when they do it's usually a day or two after the Russians, but you know, the community team can only tell us what they are told by the developers, and the developers are very slow on the EU server to tell the community team anything. So don't know what got changed. Hopefully they've fixed the screen lag when you go into sniper mode. I haven't experienced it so far, but it's the sort of thing that normally only crops up after I've been playing a couple of games. We shall see, fingers crossed. Hope that's been fixed, because it really was a game breaker. But today what I want to look at is the cruiser tanks, or one of the lines of cruiser tanks. We're taking it down a couple of notches. You've seen the Centurion Mark 7 at tier 9. Today we're going back to tier 2, 3 and 4 and tier 5, and we're looking at these fellas here, these light tanks, the A13 Mark One, 2, the A13 Covenanter and the Crusader. And I've been having a lot of fun driving these things. Well, it's been very frustrating driving these things, but not due to any fault of the tanks. It's because on the test server everybody's driving tier 8, 9 and 10 vehicles, and it's incredibly frustrating just trying to get a game in these things. And when you do get a game, there's only 6 or 7 tanks on either side if you're lucky. You tend to spend a lot of time sitting in a queue waiting for a game to happen, anything up to 5 minutes, and then just getting dumped back into the garage because there just aren't enough people playing these things in order to get a game. So I have not had a massive selection of games available to actually show you replays in these things. And of course the old replay not recording bug is still in effect, so I've been playing most of these things live, doing the commentary as I'm playing, as opposed to, you know, having the luxury to analyse what I did afterwards, have a look at the replay and then add the commentary. So you're seeing it, a lot of it, you know, live and direct as it happens. However, the tanks themselves, what they're like, unfortunately my garage is a bit of a mixed bag here. I've got both lines of light tanks, and I'm just trying to remember which are which. So which is the first one? The A13 Mark One. So back to the garage and let's have a look at the A13 Mark One. There it is. I've been having fun in this thing. It's a fun little tank. It's got an interesting... A lot of these tanks have got very interesting gun selections, and that's what's been making them fun for me. I mean, the armour is dog shit. You know, it's a tier 2 light tank. It's got 14mm of armour, but it's 14 all around. The only weak part of the armour is surprisingly the turret side. Well, I say the only weak part. It's weak everywhere, but it's weaker 12mm on the side of the turret. 150 hit points. Anything is going to kill this thing. But it is pretty quick. 48 kilometers per hour isn't bad. Power to weight ratio on this thing is 26.82. That's really good. And this is kind of a common theme that you're going to see with these little light tanks. They all are very good power to weight ratio. You know, their acceleration is fantastic. The traverse speed is good, 35 degrees. That's pretty damn good indeed. They're very fast. They're very nippy. They're very small. But it's the guns. Check out the gun selection. Now, 3 guns. The Baser machine gun is not bad. This is only tier 2. You will be able to hurt tier 1 and 2 vehicles with this thing. The penetration is alright, 25. The damage is pitiful, but look at the rate of fire, nearly 500 rounds per minute. That gun, in fact, here you go, that's what it looks like. It's pathetically weedy, but the rate of fire is ridiculous, and this gun on that tank utterly destroys, totally just ruins the day of these fellas. The low tier mediums, not the Matilda, but the Vickers Mark 1, 2 and 3 utterly get raped by tanks using that gun, because it's got way more penetration than it needs to get through their crappy armour, and the rate of fire is absurdly good. So that has been fun playing that tank with that gun, but it's not the only gun it gets. It also gets quick firing 2-pounder, which isn't bad either. Again, good rate of fire, 24 rounds per minute, very good penetration, Very, very good penetration for a tier 2 tank, 64mm. You can reliably penetrate even the micro mouse, the 735F, with that gun. And the damage is kind of lacking, but quick rate of fire makes up for lowish damage. Not very accurate though, but phenomenally good aiming time. And then you got this thing, the 40mm pom-pom. Now you're going to see this a lot in a lot of the low tier British light and medium tanks. They get anti-aircraft guns as their main armament, which is interesting. Now the 40mm pom-pom, do they still call it the pom-pom? They do still call it the pom-pom. They've changed the names of some of the guns in various different iterations of the test patch. This was basically used on Royal Navy destroyers, cruisers, aircraft carriers. It was one of the main anti-aircraft weapons, and they would mount them in quad configurations. They would have a gun mount with 4 of these things, and they would just rapid fire, fill the sky with flak. So it's interesting to see one of these on a tank. And it's not terrible. Again, it's magazine loaded. You get 4 shots that fire very, very quickly, and then you have to spend about 5 or 6 seconds reloading. Which gives you a combined rate of fire of 22.86 rounds per minute. 49 penetration, which is okay. 45 damage, again it's kind of low, but very rapid firing. Very rapid firing from the magazine. Horrible accuracy, very good aiming time. And it turns this into a tank that's really, really good for getting up close, circling, and just pumping that clip into the sides and rear, and with 49mm of penetration, even the front of enemy tanks. So that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I've blabbed on enough about it. Let's have a couple of games and see how it plays. So I was kind of curious as to what this machine gun was like. It's an 8-burst magazine that does take 16 seconds to reload, even with a 100% crew. And that was, that wasn't even the full magazine. That was 5 shots, if you like, of the 8-shot capacity. So that was amusing. And you can have fun with that machine gun. Definitely can have fun with it. It absolutely wrecks tier 1s, 2s, and some of the tier 3s. But let's have a look at a proper, tank gun, rather than the stock machine gun, which you can have fun with, but it's not the best gun on this tank. So let's have a quick look at the others. So next up, the 40mm pom-pom, and this is what the 40mm pom-pom is not for. It shoots faster than it aims, significantly faster than it aims. Yeah, if you wait for that thing to aim fully, 2 things will happen. First of all, you won't hit anything. We haven't actually hit a thing yet. And secondly, you'll slow down your rate of fire by a quarter. This is not a gun for sniping with, it's a gun for close range work. How many shots have we fired? 12. There we go, there's a first hit. So, if you find yourself driving this or any other tank armed with the pom-pom, playing it like that, you're doing it wrong. Now, the 2-pounder is more, it's more my kind of gun on this tank. It's because of the way I play. And yeah, that probably means I'm not really playing the Mark One the way it should be played. But you can do things with the 2-pounder that you can't really do with the pom-pom. Like hit targets that are more than 50 meters away from you. You just can't hit them as quickly. The rate of fire on that pom-pom, which I haven't actually really shown you yet, is way, way better. I mean, this is a good rate of fire, but the pom-pom's rate of fire at close range is just absolutely phenomenal. You can empty that clip in less than a second. And that's a lot of damage. But you need to be close. Otherwise you're going to miss. You need to be as close as this guy who's about to kill me. Here it comes. See how fast he's firing. There he is. Now if you get into a close range fight with another A13 and you've got the 2-pounder and he's got the pom-pom, he's going to win. Simple as that. The amount of burst damage that gun kicks out at close range is just obscene. The 2-pounder is more of a general purpose gun. The pom-pom, definitely for close range work. Both equally fun, but it just depends on how you're going to play the tank. I find that the 2-pounder just covers more bases. No matter what map you get on, you can do okay with the 2-pounder. With the pom-pom, you need to be at close range, and you need to be getting the tank to close range. But you know, it's only a tier 2 tank. Most teams at tier 2 are so inept that you don't have any problems getting this tank to close range and engaging them, as this guy did here. I was completely unaware, totally not watching the map. And he just kept driving right up the really obvious road, blew me away from the side. So yeah, well done to him. I need to pay attention to the map in future. So back in the garage, moving up a tier, it's the A13 Mark II cruiser tank Mark IV. It's kind of weird these things all have two names. It's the A13 Mark II, it's the cruiser tank Mark IV. Tell you what, we're just going to call it the Mark II. And it pretty much is. In fact, if we put a pom-pom on it, there you go. So there's the tier 3, and there's the tier 2. And there's not a lot of difference. Well, that's because there really isn't a lot of difference. It is basically the same tank. It's just been given an extra 16mm of frontal armour on the turret and the hull. It's now 30 at the front. And it's been given some extra hit points, 230 hit points. It's got the same engine, the same armour everywhere else. It's basically the tier 2 tank, just with a little bit of a facelift. So that's going to make going through the stats very, very simple, because I just did. What are the differences? Well, yeah, like I said, 30mm of armour at the front instead of 14. It doesn't have the machine gun anymore. It's still got the 2-pounder, it's still got the 40mm, and there's this new 40mm, the Mark VI. And it looks like that. And this, again, is what was actually an anti-aircraft gun. The Royal Navy used it, the Royal Artillery used them for air defence units stationed around the cities and on airfields. There were thousands of these guns dotted all around anywhere important. Not bad little anti-aircraft gun. Again, magazine fed. How does it perform on our little tier 3 tank? It's not bad. Again, it's another one of these fun little guns to use. The rate of fire is absolutely obscene. 53.33 rounds per minute on a 40mm gun. Again, that's with the magazine. It blats the shots out from the magazine faster than you would believe. Every time you pull the trigger, it blats out 2 shots. When I first loaded this tank up, I was a bit dismayed when I looked at the mag and realised I only had 2 shots in it. I thought, well, I'm going to need more than that. I have to fire 2 shots and then reload. What's going on? Well, no, actually, every time you pull the trigger, it fires 2 shots. So you actually get 4 shots, but you can only fire them twice, if that makes any sense. So 4 shots in the magazine, displays as 2, but every time you pull the trigger, it fires 2 shots very, very quickly. So another fun little gun. Again, the penetration's not bad, 63mm. The damage is kind of weedy, 50 average damage per shot, but don't forget, every time you pull the trigger, you're firing 2 shots, so 100 actual average damage. Accuracy, pretty pants again, 0.41, not very good. Very fast aiming time, 1.9 second. None of these guns are great, but they're all interesting and fun to use, except for the 2-pounder, which is really, really boring because it's just a normal tank gun. Nothing wrong with it, but these guys are just different. So there it is. Let's see how it plays. So, no, it's not the same game. It's not even the same tank. This is the Cruiser Mark II, the A13 Mark II. And this time, we're using 40mm Bofors gun, the quick-firing 40mm. Superficially, the two tanks do look very similar. And they should. One's just an upgraded version of the other. But this 40mm is interesting. If you look at the magazine marker, you'll see it's only got 2 shots. I thought, whoa, hold on. 2 shots? You've got to be kidding me. Well, yeah and no, it's actually 2 bursts. Every time you pull the trigger, 2 shots leave the barrel. Very, very quickly. So here we go. And this time I will be paying attention to the map. Not like in the last game. There you go. 2 shots every time I pull the trigger. Gun depression, pretty damn good. Tetrarch and Locust down there. They can't hit me, but they might be spotting me, so, you know, let's just be careful. Oh, there is somebody shooting, so I definitely have been spotted. And you still don't have much armour and health on this thing. Oh, there goes some poor sod in the Mark III Vickers. Don't worry, mate, you don't have to use it for long. You'll get a Matilda, and then the pain will end. T127. Tough little tank. Not from the side. At these extreme ranges though, and you'll find it yourself when you're playing tier 2 and 3 games, penetration, in fact there you go, taking hits from the other side of the valley. Oh no, it's the Locust. Okay. Impudent dog. We'll have him. But you can see the penetration indicator turning red when you're shooting at tanks right at the other side of the valley. Depending on how they're angled towards you. Because the penetration obviously is a factor of distance. More than 100 meters, penetration starts to fall off, and you really need to have good penetration guns, or people need to be silly and parking sideways onto you to kill them from one end of this map to the other. Check out the speed and manoeuvrability of this thing. Yeah, the key to survival when you're coming down this road is not to stay still. Gotcha. And keep moving. And he's going to miss. Another unfortunate player in a Vickers Mark III, and now he's dead too. And all they have left is an A10, another one of the British light tanks, but from the other light tank line. Come on, little A10, don't be shy. It will all be over soon. Just come to your Uncle Jingles. Although, you know, he could quite easily kill me. 154 health. Depends what gun he has. Not today. Gotcha. So, once you've had enough of derping around in tier 2 and 3 in the A13s, you come to this thing at tier 4, the A13 Covenanter. It's a different kettle of fish entirely. I mean, if you look at the Mark 1 and 2, they're pretty clearly the same tank, just with incremental upgrades. But then you come to the Covenanter and it's a completely different design. And it's an interesting little tank. Now, obviously you get a bit more health. You're here at tier 4 now, 340 hit points, but most of the tier 5 mediums shooting back at you, for example, are doing around about 110 average damage, so you don't have an awful lot to mess around with here. A couple of hits and you can die, but that's as it should be. You're a tier 4 light tank. The power to weight ratio isn't as good as in the Mark 1 and 2. It is in fact 19.31, which is still pretty good, but it's not as powerful for its weight class as the other two are, and that's because the engine isn't as powerful and it weighs more. No mystery there, fairly straightforward. However, the top speed of 50 kilometers per hour is better, but it doesn't really reach that top speed unless it has a bit of help. That doesn't mean it's slow, but it'll do 40 no problem. Reaching 50 is a bit of an issue in this thing though. However, it is much more manoeuvrable than even the Mark 1 and 2. The traverse is 40 degrees per second, and even the turret turns faster. Now, the armour on this thing is kind of interesting. Well, it's interesting, the polite way of putting it. It's weird. Some of its strongest armour is at the back. It's 25mm on the hull and 25mm on the turret. The side of the turret is 19mm, but the side of the hull is 30mm, which is more than the front of the hull, which is only 16. The front of the hull is actually the weakest armour on this thing, but it is sloped. And certainly for the upper hull here, it's very, very well sloped indeed. So that's why I say, interesting armour layout. The fact that the thickest armour on the thing is the front of the turret, which is 39mm, and the side of the hull, which is 30mm, coupled with the fact that it has a 40-degree traverse and a turret that turns at 48 degrees per second, that just says to me, I am designed for circling bigger, slower tanks. Because you can keep the turret pointed at them, where your armour is the thickest. Your hull armour is the thickest of your hull armour. In fact, it's the second thickest armour on the tank, mine, next to the front of the turret. Keep circling them, keep pumping the shots into them, and that seems to be, on paper, what this tank is for. Now, the gun selection is, well, there's nothing really revolutionary about the gun selection. It's almost exactly the same as on the A13 Mark II. You get a 3-inch howitzer, and your 2-pounder gun is different. Let's just pull the stats of that one up and show you how it differs from the gun on the A13 Mark II, which also gets the quick-firing 2-pounder, but that's the Mark 9, and the one on the Covenanter is the Mark 10. So there's the Mark 9, here's the Mark 10. The Mark 10 has a faster rate of fire, it's got better penetration, slightly better damage, same accuracy, same aiming time. So that being the stock gun on the Covenanter isn't bad. 78mm penetration for a tier 4 light tank isn't terrible. It's not bad at all. Damage again is kind of weedy. It's only 5 damage more than on the Mark 9 2-pounder. But it's a good rate of fire. And if you're going to use this tank to circle strafe the big boys, that's not a bad gun. Not a bad gun at all. The 40mm pom-pom, exactly the same. The quick-firing 40mm Mark 6, I believe it's exactly the same. Let's just quickly check. The Mark 6, yep, it's exactly the same gun. The only real difference is that you also get a howitzer on the Covenanter. Howitzers are howitzers. It's a 76mm howitzer. Lousy penetration, very good rate of fire. Lot of damage if it penetrates, but if you're shooting anything tier 4 and up, it probably isn't going to penetrate. Howitzer's a howitzer, there you go, that's what it looks like. I've been having a lot of fun, however, sticking to the 40mm Bofors gun. Actually, it's not called the Bofors gun anymore. It was referred to by that name in the first version of the patch. Version 2 of the patch, they've dropped it. They just call it the quick-firing 40mm Mark 6. Yeah, what are you going to do? So, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that gun on this tank. Driving around bigger tanks, going boom, 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 driving off, laughing at them while leaving them a smoking wreck behind me. Yeah, it's not bad. Definitely been having fun driving this tank, and I'm pretty sure you will too. Let's see how it plays. And as luck would have it, I'm here in the A13 Covenanter. I finally managed to get into a game, kill an enemy tank, and forgot to record. Oh well, here we go. Probably get killed by a Hetzer now. You just watch. Right, whoa. Yeah, let's not just sit there waiting for the tank destroyers to kill us. That Hetzer's going to get shot in the ass. He needs support. Oh, that was lucky. Let's see if we can hit that Valentine. We can. We'd not love to kill him. Can we get the killing blow? Possibly. Damn, Valentine's tough. Let's go for a reload. There's their artillery. Oh, that's not good. That was an artillery hit, obviously. Let's get the gunner back up. Gotcha. Yeah, I quite like this tank. It's not bad. My apologies there, by the way. I was so excited that I finally got into a game with a Covenanter. Seriously, you would not believe the trouble I've had trying to just get a game with this thing. I mean, as I said in other previews, everybody on the test server is playing tier 8s, 9s and 10s. And I must have spent, over the course of the last 9 or 10 hours, I must have spent an hour just queuing this tank, pressing the battle button and sitting waiting, only to get dumped back in the garage. This is the first game I have ever managed to get played in this thing. And of course I was just so excited about finally getting the game in it, I forgot to press the record button. I know the battle recording isn't working, so I'm actually recording these games live, and I just forgot to start recording. So you missed my first kill. Sorry about that. But yeah, that was pretty good. Whoa, look at that. This is a tier 4 light tank. Alright, that's doubled for the first victory. It's not just the first victory of the day in this tank, it's the first victory ever in this tank. It's my first game in this tank, but second class mastery, master gunner, and yeah, 1400 XP. So that's not bad. 2 kills. You missed the A13 kill, unfortunately. That was a good one. How much damage did we do to him? 23. Pff, bit cheap. We 53 damage to that guy. Hit that Valentine all sorts of times, but we just couldn't get through his armour. Very tough little tank. SU-26, 3 hits, 150 damage. Bingo. Yeah, that's not bad. But yeah, we made it up here with damage done to vehicles that we detected. I've fitted the Covenanter, as you can see here, enhanced Christie suspension, and I think that saved my ass, because this is something that a lot of people failed to notice. When patch 8 came out with the new physics engine, a lot of light tank drivers were complaining that they were going airborne, driving over rough terrain, coming down and wrecking their tracks. And at roughly the same time, there was a change made to the enhanced suspension equipment module, which previously just increased the load limit of your vehicle. Well, now it not only does that, it also enhances the durability of the suspension, which means your tracks don't fall off when you catch a little bit of air going over rough ground. And as I came up the hill on mines, I did take a flanking hit, which went into my tracks. Now, it's entirely possible that if I didn't have the enhanced Christie suspension on this tank, they would have blown my tracks off. I would have been caught flank on to 2 enemy tanks, killed, and you would have never seen this replay because I would have just quit in disgust. But I did have that enhanced Christie suspension, and I think I'd have to recommend this as an option for light tank drivers, especially scouts, because getting hit in the tracks and immobilized means you're a dead scout. Fitting an enhanced suspension really helps with that, and I think it's what enabled me to survive this game. 20 shots fired, 12 direct hits, 9 penetrations, put a lot of shots into that Valentine and just couldn't find a weak spot. But yeah, I kind of like this tank. Oh, there we go. Best experience of anybody in the game, which is nice. To be fair, we utterly dominated that team. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get many more games in this tank. It just takes too long. It's 10 hours of trying. I mean, I'll play a game in the Centurion Mark 7, and then I'll try to play a game in this and fail, and then I'll play another game in the Centurion. And it's been like that all night. And this is the only game I've managed to get going in this tank. There just aren't anybody playing low tiers. So, yeah, the Covenanter. I kind of like it, I have to say. It's not a bad little tier 4. Yeah, not a bad little tier 4 light tank. It's got the same gun as the A13 Cruiser Mark II. But is the performance different? Let's have a look. Doesn't appear to be. It seems to perform exactly the same. That's a bit disappointing. But it's a good gun. I was a bit concerned when I first loaded it up and I saw that it only had 2 shots, but it actually fires 2 shots for every round, if you like. So the loading indicator says 2 shots loaded. It's actually 4 shots, but every time you press the trigger, it fires 2 very, very quick shots. It's an interesting gun. Not very accurate, but I do kind of like it. So there you go, that's the Covenanter. Now let's take a look at the Crusader. Hopefully we can get some better, well, I'm not going to say better matchmaking, hopefully we can just get a game in the Crusader. It's tier 5, there should be more people available. So let's see what we can do. Well, here we go, my first game in the Crusader. Now the Crusader is an interesting vehicle. It's a British tier 5 light cruiser tank. But the British don't get a tier 5 medium tank, and the Crusader kind of sits in that little niche. But the Crusader's different to the other tier 5 lights, because apparently it doesn't get the same matchmaking. It doesn't get scout tank matchmaking, it just gets regular tier 5 matchmaking, so you'll never get into a game worse than a tier 7 match. So that should be interesting. Let's see how this thing handles.
Let's get this show on the road.
Feels okay. Kind of. Yeah, the turret's not turning that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, everybody's shooting each other. God almighty. Oh, Russians are killing each other today. Yeah, there he goes. What a prick. Well, we've lost this game. Our only heavy tank is busy killing everybody. Well, I'm not going to get involved. I want to find some enemy tanks to shoot. This thing doesn't turn very well at all. Oh, screen lag. That's a fast firing gun though. Can't penetrate this guy from any angle. Oh, he's looking for more kills. Huh, did damage him. Oh, I must have hit that T-50. I like this gun. I must admit, I do like this gun. Please kill that Churchill for us. I'm probably going to run into... Oh look, they've got a team killer as well. This is so depressing. You queue all day to get into a low tier game and it's just full of team killers. I don't even want to look at the nationalities because I've been defending the Russians, saying they're not all team killers. You know, and if I look and find out that it's just Russians killing Russians.
Looks like that one went right through. Enemy vehicle
Happy with
destroyed.
that. Killed a Sherman. Check me out. See if I can get their artillery. I fancy tangling with those two Churchills. But they'll never catch me. In fact, I should be able to get the artillery. Let's see if we can do that. M22 Locust.
Target acquired.
You can hurt me.
Enemy
Oh, he bounced.
damaged. We nailed him bad. We nailed him bad. Enemy armor
Wow.
destroyed.
I like this tank.
Permission to engage.
Missed.
Looks like
Hit.
that one went right through. He's gone. Find another target.
Do you know what? I think I'm just going to cap. Churchill's never going to catch me. I like this tank. This gun's good, but I don't fancy taking on the Churchill. Not with 259 health left. Man, I'm impressed with this thing. Yeah, he's miles away from me. There is no way he's going to catch me. I've got Sherman pinning him down. This tank is amazing. I couldn't believe I was bouncing all those shots from an M22 Locust. Here goes an invader medal. That Churchill is never, ever going to catch me here. God almighty, yeah. 3 kills, tier 5 light tank, tier 5 game. Hurrah! Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll do for me, Sonny Jim. I like the Crusader. Oh, I want to get more games in this. Have a tight turning circle can we do? Ooh, yeah, I had to ease off the gas there. Slow down a little. I was going to go out of the capture circle. Yeah, it doesn't. It's this. This is not a tier 5 light tank. This is a tier 5 medium tank. It handles like a tier 5 medium. Handles more like a Sherman than any tier 5 light. Oh, what a game. And we were 2 down from friendly fire before I even got to shoot at anything. And we still won. Oh, I'll tell you what. Look at that. Oh, yeah. I like the Crusader. M22. 250 damage. How much damage does this gun do? Let's have another look. Whoa, 110 penetration, 75 damage. It's a good £6 gun. Horribly inaccurate, and yet firing on the move. At close range, I hit more than I missed. Could have just gotten lucky, but yeah, let's check that out. 250 damage to the Locust. 130 killed the M4, killed the Locust, killed the Su-26. 2 hits, bang, you're dead. 4 shots into the T-50. Yeah, that was alright. Wow, what a tank. So yeah, I hope your dick rots and falls off. I hope you die of face cancer. And yeah, that Sherman did quite well as well. Unfortunately, you know, guys like this on the teams, it's an uphill struggle for everybody. But I was sure that game was just a waste of time even carrying on playing. But it turned into one of the most enjoyable games I've had in living memory. 19 shots fired, 13 hits, 13 penetrations. 695 damage in a tier 5 light. Took 6 hits. Hardly any of them did any damage. 4 damaged, 3 killed. We took 6 hits. We have 32mm of frontal hull armour and 51mm of turret armour. That has to be a fluke. This tank can't be that good. Well, it isn't that good. I mean, look at it. The armour is rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. It's light tank armour, but it plays like a medium. And that gun is, yeah, I'm actually sitting here in a state of shock over the result I just got in that tank. That was fun. So I have to say, I've been having so much more fun with the British Crusader line of light tanks than I did with any of the alleged British medium tanks. Where's the tech tree? Here we go. Yeah, these are good fun tanks. You know, the A13 Mark One, the Mark Two, the A13 Covenanter, the Crusader. These are good little tanks. These guys here, the mediums, the Vickers Mark 1, 2, 3, the Matilda, they're dog shit. They really were pants. The Matilda's good, but these guys were rubbish. The cruiser tanks, these guys up here, wow, I'm having a lot of fun with these fellas. Like to have a go at these fellas as well. In fact, I will. Well, I'll try, but you know what it's like trying to get into a game with these tier 2s and 3s. It's just, it's bad news. It's hard work, but I'll keep going, and I will try to get reviews of these 3 fellas here as well. But so far, these little buggers, not disappointed at all. So, let's see if we can get another game in on the Crusader. Hope so. I'll keep trying. Let's certainly give it a go. Well, here we go. Another game in the Crusader, pretty much the same as the last time. They're the only ones with a heavy tank, but you know, there's so few people playing this kind of tier. I'm just impressed the matchmaker could find me a game at all, so I'm not going to complain.
Time to roll out.
Let's see what we could do. It doesn't look like anybody's trying to team kill, which is a refreshing change at this tier. Well, having said that, I'll now take a 75mm shell at the arse. No, maybe not. So that Churchill's going to be a problem, as are the other Crusaders. Right, a Valentine. Nope. No line of fire. There's the Churchill. Looks like somebody's opening up on him with a Bofors gun. 40mm. Not too keen on rushing forward. Let that A13 spot for us. No, I'm going to have to move up. Ooh, perhaps not. Ah, screw it. Yeah, let's go. No guts, no glory. Chicks dig scars and all that.
Looks like that one went right
I'll keep
through.
this up all day.
Looks like that one went right through. We nailed it bad.
Huh.
Looks like that one went right through.
There goes the Valentine. Running out of things to shoot at. Let's go and see.
We've hit them hard.
Okay, back to base. get out of here. Reset that cap.
Track hit.
There's the benefit of that enhanced Christie suspension for you again.
Nice shot. Our track is hit. Could break any minute. Penetration. Ricochet.
I'm being shot at from behind.
Lost the track. That's gotta hurt. We nailed it bad. We're done for.
Yeah.
Everyone get out.
Yeah, me against the Crusader and the T25. That's not going to happen. But look at how many shots this tank took in the tracks before finally being immobilized. And that is the benefit of the enhanced Christie suspension. It's a very, very good investment on a light tank. And I can't really complain about that game. I mean, we're getting... As soon as I died, that's it. Boom, everybody. Yeah, there they go. They're all dying, one after the other. Team was utter dog shit. Matilda Black Prince got Valentine, and that's pretty much it. Let's see how the results of that one panned out. Oh, the Ram 2's playing a good game. Good for him. At least kill that Churchill. Oh, he's lost sight of him. And he's going to get flanked any second now. He's probably going to die very soon. There are enemy tanks in those woods, as I discovered. Mind you, it doesn't look like that. If they knew where he was, he'd be getting shot. Oh, Crusader. Crusader will be able to penetrate you. If he hits. What guns are you using? Oh, go on, kill him. He is not using the Christie suspension. And there's another Crusader. Go on, take your shot, kill him. Good man, good man. Just the Churchill and the tier 3. You know, this guy could win in his little Ram 2. Look at those shots in the side. That's to be expected. Oh, this is not good. Come on, fire again, fire again, fire again. Oh, it bounced. Oh, he got him. Yes. He's going to do it. Is he going to do it? Well done. Check out that little Ram 2. What a player. Top. Look at that. That was awesome. Yeah. He gets Top Gun. And Kolovanov's medal. Jeez. Well played. And there was only what? There's only 7 tanks playing and he killed 6 of them. Awesome. Check this out. 2 well-deserved rewards there. Well played, the guy in the Ram 2. Excellent Russian player there. Exceptionally well played. 39 shots, 33 hits. Look at that, 1400 damage he did in a Ram 2. Oh man, I'm impressed with that. That is, yeah, well, enough. Oh, calm down, Jingles. Yeah, excellent game. Definitely going to show you this one, despite the fact that I didn't do too well. But well, we did all right. You know, 14 shots fired, 11 hits. We just couldn't kill anything. Got cornered there by 2 tier 5s, and there was no way I was going to survive that. But it does show you the... I'm not even using the enhanced Christie suspension. Ugh. So, turned things around a little bit there. Showed you the games in the Crusader before I actually talked you through it in the garage. But it's different. It's a tier 5 light tank, but it's not like the other tier 5 light tanks, and that's down to the matchmaking. It's got significantly less health than any of the other tier 5 lights, with the exception of the ELC, but that's different because it's French. But, you know, the Chaffee, the T50-2, the VK2801, your traditional tier 5 light scout tanks, all have a lot more health than this thing, but they need it because they can't afford to get one-shotted by IS-7s, because they're going to be in games with IS-7s. The Crusader isn't. Its matchmaking is normal tier 5 matchmaking. Biggest thing it's going to face is an IS, a Tiger, a T29. You won't be facing off against E75s and IS-7s and T110E5s in this thing. So it doesn't need the hit point pool to avoid being one-shotted by a tier 10 heavy tank, because it's never going to face a tier 10 heavy tank. And it does handle much more like a medium tank, I feel, than a light tank. Is that on purpose? Because there is no British tier 5 medium tank. British medium tanks skip tier 5 completely. You've got the crap mediums, tier 1, 2, 3 and 4. Well, no, that's not fair. The Matilda's a good one, but you know, the Vickers Mark 1, 2 and 3 are dog shit. And then it skipped tier 5 completely, and the first British medium tank, a proper medium tank, is the Cromwell, tier 6. If you go down the medium tank line from tier 1, you get to the Matilda, and then at tier 5, Churchill Mark 1 heavy tank. So this kind of fits the British tier 5 medium tank gap, if you like, and it does play a lot like certain other tier 5 medium tanks. Tanks like... oh, looking at the wrong line. Here we go. I find this thing plays a lot like that. The T-34. Stat-wise, there's not a massive amount. If I go back to the Crusader here, I'll show you what I mean. Oh, light tanks, there we go. Compare the T-34. Stock T-34 without the upgraded turret, 450 hit points. Same as the Crusader. Speed, 56, 44. Traverse speed, both have 40. Turret traverse, 49 on the T-34. 46 on the Crusader. It does have better armour, but it's not that much better. Hull armour on the T-34 is famous for being 45mm all round, and it's sloped. It's 32 at the front on the Crusader, 27 elsewhere. Turret armour, 60, 45, 45 on the T-34, 51, 23, 28. But it is a light tank, you know, let's not get too carried away. 350 view range on the T-34, that'll probably be 360 with the upgraded turret, and it's 360 on the Crusader, and the signal ranges are comparable. But it's the gun, more than anything else. It's that 57mm Zis 4 that drew my attention, because if you look at the Crusaders, 6-pounder gun Mark 5, the L50, and just compare these two guns. They're both 57mm. The Crusader has a slightly better rate of fire. The penetration, there's only 2mm difference. The damage, there's only 10 difference in the damage. T-34 does have the Crusader beat for accuracy, but they've both got the same aiming time. So it's practically the same gun on what is practically the same tank. So yeah, calling this thing a light tank, I mean, it is a light tank, it's got light tank armour, but it's not that different to other of the tier 5 mediums, and I like that. And that, to me, is why this thing seems to handle more like a medium. It's like the British tech tree is just full of these weird things, certainly at the lower levels. You've got these mediums here that have less armour than the lights, and yet you've got this light tank that is, in all but name, a tier 5 medium. It doesn't get light tank matchmaking, it gets medium tank matchmaking, and it handles and performs just like a T-34. And I like the T-34, which might explain why I like this thing so much. So, yeah, the Crusader, British tier 5 light tank. Yeah, really. Plays more like a medium than any other light tank I've ever seen. So, the British tier 2 to 5 light cruiser tank line, I have had a lot of fun with it. Definitely have had a lot of fun with it. Particularly the Crusader. I've had some amazing fun with the Crusader, but I've had good fun with the others. None of them are bad tanks. It's not like the medium tank line, where you've got 3 complete turds and then finally, you know, a decent tank at tier 4. All of the light tank cruisers are fun, definitely fun. And I would recommend all of them. Even if you only want to go as far as the Crusader and then head down the medium tank line, and you know, you're going to have to go through these guys if you want to get to the actual British mediums, the Cromwell, the Comet, the Centurions and the FV4202, but it's going to be a fun experience. You certainly aren't going to have to suffer through the horrific just pain of playing these turds here, these low tier mediums, because they're just horrible until you get to the Matilda. You'll have fun in the A13 Mark One. You'll have fun in the Mark Two. You'll have fun in the Covenanter. you're going to have a load of fun in the Crusader. And the Cromwell's a fantastic tank. The Comet's okay. The Centurions are brilliant. Just this entire tank line, there is not a bad tank in that entire line. Even the worst of them is not bad. I really like what they've done with this entire line of British tanks. Every single one of them is fun to play. So there you go. Finally got around to reviewing one complete line of British tanks, and it's been good news. So I hope you have as much fun in them as I did. And as usual, take care. I'll see you on the battlefield. Catch you next time, folks.